Very, very, very excited today to have another athlete that's very familiar with the ocean on the podcast. He is, well, let's see if the listeners can work out what type of athlete this is before I actually introduce him. His sponsors are War. Stuffed that up already. War Hand Planes. They're on Instagram at War Hand Planes, and it spells W-A-W Hand Planes. That's a tool that you use for this activity. Hint. The other sponsor is Dafin Australia. You can find them on Instagram as well at DAFIN Australia, and they are swim fins. His third sponsor is at Whistler Surf, and he's also sponsored by two familiar companies to us, at Peak Chocolate and at True Protein. He is on Instagram himself under at Nick Brbot, and it spells NickBrbot, and he is a body surfer. Nick, welcome on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. It's nice and early right now. We just had a little bit of a coffee and trying to wake up to get into this. But I'm a morning person anyway, and sounds like you are a morning person. But what I wanted to start off with is what is going on with your current injury? How did that all happen, and where are we at now?
Yeah, so about 3 months ago, we were about 3/4 of the way through our soccer season, and I just copped a bump off someone and did my ACL on my left knee. It's the second time I've done an ACL, but I did it on the right about 8 years ago. So I've had a few injuries in my time and
done both the ACLs, basically.
Done both the ACLs. I've also had a full shoulder reconstruction on my right. That happened 4 years ago, and I was just kind of getting over that.
How did you do your shoulder?
Shoulder was, I think, an accumulation of just doing too much. It was playing water polo, doing weights, rugby, cricket, surfing, swimming, just like
all pulling exercises, kind of, yeah?
Yeah, just all shoulder, pull, push, like just overworking it, not taking enough time off.
And did that go acutely or like the knee? Or
no, so that happened over time. I got tendonitis and I was kind of managing it, doing rehab and stuff. And then one morning I just woke up and it was done. I was like, I knew it was done. So went in, got the scans and stuff, and I had 2 rotator cuff tendons torn. So that was a rough couple of years getting over that.
Yeah. So you've had some experience with injuries. Does that help you with the recovery of this one?
Yeah, I think so. Just being in a good headspace is so important when recovering from your injuries. And the first time I did my ACL was my first major injury. I thought the world was going to end. And
tell me a bit about what you did back then. Like, what was the sport?
Yeah, so I did it playing rugby the first time. And that was my last year of high school. And I was going through the HSC, having to get my ACL surgery done. And it was a pretty stressful time, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So then the rehab from that, I didn't do great. I guess it was my first big injury. I was like, it'll get better over time. And I've realized now that how important the rehab is the first year or two after you do the injury and have the surgery. But then going through my shoulder reconstruction, that was like 10 times worse than the knee. I wouldn't wish that pain upon anyone. I slept in a chair for 6 weeks.
Oh, because you couldn't lean on your shoulder?
Yeah, no, as soon as you're lying down, your shoulder kind of sags back a little bit, and that would just pull on the tendons. And there was no amount of painkillers that could take that pain away or anything. I ended up going off the painkillers after 2 days because they just weren't doing anything.
Wow.
So yeah, I had a recliner chair and...
what was your sleep quality like in that chair?
Not very good.
That doesn't help your recovery either, eh?
No. And then just being in that headspace of not leaving my living room chair.
And being an active person like you are, that must have been awful, right?
Yeah. It's just like not being able to exercise. It's just like a spiraling effect.
Yeah. And what did you do to kind of did you turn that around a little bit or?
Yeah, so I did kind of turn that around, but it took, I think I was in a sling for 2 months. And then, but even while I was in the sling, I was doing legs and stuff at the gym. And once I could kind of get up off the couch.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. As soon as I got back in the gym and started going for a few walks and that kind of thing. And I think I got back in the water 9 months, and it was just like small little breaststrokes. Like I couldn't really move my arm that much. But the fact that I could get in meant that I could start training and working on something, having a goal and knowing what was at the end. Yeah. So then it was a case of just slowly working it up and bigger strokes and then moving on to freestyle and backstroke. And it was a long process.
Can be so frustrating, hey? But I think you're spot on with what you're mentioning about the mental side of it. You got to try and stay positive.
Yeah. And that's why with this knee, I'm sleeping well. I've gotten to the point where I'm training well. Like, nothing's really that bad in comparison to where I've been before.
Yeah. As long as you can still go to the gym and you can get a sweat up, that's good, right? And you've been tracking a bit of your recovery with his knee on your social. Does that help as well? Like seeing the progress through there?
Yeah, for sure. Like knowing I have videos from where I started with the injury and that kind of thing, and I'm measuring all my training on an app so I can see how much stronger I'm getting, how much better I'm getting at the exercises.
Which app are you using?
It's called Team Builder.
Okay.
And just the physios set it all up, and he's put my program in there. And
yeah, so you track your numbers and your progressions on certain lifts and stuff, or how?
Yeah, on certain lifts.
Give some example.
On certain lifts, and then I think every 4 to 6 weeks we do like a retest. And then he changes my program depending at which stage, if I'm ready for the next stage of my rehab.
Yeah.
But the ACL rehab, it's kind of, since I haven't got the surgery and I'm going the conservative route, there's not as much research out there as to how fast it takes to get better. If there's a certain limit at this month you do this, or this month you do that. It's kind of, you just have to test. And it's the same tests as you would do on someone who's had the surgery. And if you can complete those tests, you're ready for the next stage of the rehab.
So are they physical tests that your physio is doing on you? Like he's making you do certain movements and the flexibility of the knee and stuff like that?
So it's pretty much like even like there'll be a line and I have to hop on one leg on either side of the line.
Mm-hmm. On your bad leg?
On my bad leg for like as many as I can do in 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And then I have to compare that to my other leg, which the ACL is still intact. And I think I need to get within 90% difference for it to be completed successfully.
Okay.
And there's a couple of, so there's just like a single leg broad jump. And I've gotten to the point where my single leg broad jump is the same distance on my torn ACL as it is on my non-injured leg.
Wow. So, and this is 3 months ago.
Yeah.
This is pretty early because the ACL can be up to 6 months sometimes, yeah?
Yeah, it's 6-9 months.
Yeah.
6 months for like a professional athlete if they're kind of getting back into the sport really quickly.
Yeah.
But they're even saying that if you really want to keep the integrity of your knee, to look up to 1 to 2 years before you really get back into it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you follow the UFC?
Not too much at the moment, no.
There's a guy there, Tony Ferguson, who tore not only his ACL, I think, I'm not 100% sure on what he tore in his knee, but he tore a lot.
Yeah.
ACL, MCL, a couple of things. And he was back fighting, I think, so quickly after, like maybe 6 months. And when you're back fighting, he's getting kicked in the leg, in the knee.
Yeah, I guess when it's your livelihood, you want to get back to it as fast as you can as well.
Yeah, but damn.
Yeah.
And the guy, it was a really famous story because he basically did a PR event for the UFC. So he's working and he tripped on some of the camera gear or some of the props at the back.
Yeah.
So he's doing this basically on the job, and he lost his interim belt because of that, because he couldn't do the next fight.
So it wasn't even in a fight that he did the injury?
Not in a fight. It was a freak accident on a PR shoot.
Yeah.
And then they took the interim belt off him. So that was a big, controversy, because he really could have fought, but it was getting injured on the job.
Yeah.
And then, so everyone knew that his knee was busted. And then when he eventually came back into the octagon, the guy he was fighting, he was just attacking the knee from the first second.
Yeah.
So it's just different, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to ask, why did you decide to do the route that you're going with no surgery and more what you call, I think, the natural way to try and heal it?
Yeah, well, because I've had 2 surgeries before, I know the struggles of going through surgery. And you don't really sleep properly for a good 6 months just from the pain of the surgery. The surgery is like you're re-injuring the body part to try and make it heal, I guess. But after I did my knee recently, within a week, I was sleeping well. And I'm like, well, this is different to all my other injuries. Like, it doesn't really hurt that much. I could still feel a bit of instability and stuff. But the fact that I was sleeping well, I was walking around all right, I actually thought it might not be fully torn. So then I got the MRI and stuff and saw the specialist. He confirmed it was fully torn.
Okay.
But then I saw my physio, and there's been a big push with the physios to look at conservative treatment first, especially if you're not a professional athlete. It's not my livelihood to be playing soccer, really.
Yeah.
So I thought I might as well give the conservative route a go. And if it doesn't work out in the end, the muscles around my knee will be ready as soon as I have the surgery. Like, all my glutes and stuff will be strong. Quads will be strong. Like, I'll be better off for it anyway.
Yeah.
And you can always do it down the track. Like, with the ACL, you can get surgery in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I think with shoulders, the longer you leave it, the harder it is for it to heal. Whereas the ACL, you can just get it done whenever.
Okay. So there might be a possibility later down the track that you'll opt for a surgery.
Maybe,
if
yes.
it doesn't heal. But I
yeah.
mean,
Like, there has been a couple people coming out and research papers that ACLs are healing.
Yeah.
Full ruptures, which in like doctors' terms, they said it didn't exist. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And there's MRIs that are proving it now. So
It's crazy.
yeah, I thought, why not be on the just little test dummy for it?
Yeah.
And down the track, I can compare my surgery knee and my non-surgical knee and see how I feel.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point, because you've had surgery on your left, but now you opted not to do it on the right.
And it's funny, on some of the tests that I do with the physio, my torn ACL leg is better than the other one. Yeah, it's performing amazing, better. Yeah. I got more stability and stuff. And
yeah. Is there an option for Australians to get any stem cells, or the PRP or stuff like that?
I think probably, yeah. There is PRP.
The PRP is legal here, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the stem cells and stuff, but
it's pretty expensive, yeah. It's an expensive route to go down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's several grand just to get a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are you seeing now as a physio, and at which gym? And can you give some examples of what exercise you're doing at this point?
Yeah. So I'm seeing Andrew from BFit Physio, which is at the gym that I train at, BFit in Double Bay.
Yeah.
And it's really good because he's always in there. So he can check that I'm doing my rehab every day. He's always like walking past.
Yeah.
And
Accountability is important.
Yeah. And then even because there's always trainers in the gym, they know what exercises are supposed to look like. So if my technique's wrong on a Romanian deadlift or a squat, the trainers can pull me up on it. Like it doesn't have to be the physio in there all the time. So that's really good. So
yeah. So are you squatting on squatting on both legs? So
yeah. So I'm
Weighted squats?
Yeah, weighted squats. So I think it was 3 weeks after I did the injury, I did like a test and I could squat 60 kilos.
Dang.
And any heavier than that, my knee would start to give way a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was for 5 reps. But now I'm up to 120.
Oh,
So in
geez.
3 months, I've like doubled it. My knee's stable at 120 for 5.
Yeah.
So I can just kind of track that.
120 for 5. What's your all-time heaviest back squat?
It was like 130 for 5. So it's pretty close to
Yeah.
like...
That's great. I thought maybe you'd like back squatted 200 kilos, so then 120 would be like a normal one.
Yeah, I'm not a huge
still,
back squatter.
Yeah, but still, that's very good.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so one of the things that you're probably most famous for is your body surfing. Tell me a bit about how you got into that. How did that start for you?
So body surfing started from water polo pretty much. Like I've always been a swimmer, always been in the water. And my mates and I, as like training for our water polo, instead of going to the pool, we just go to the beach on the biggest, meanest day, see if we could make it out the back, and whoever could catch the biggest waves was the winner on the day.
Where would you go? What beaches?
So just at Cronulla.
Okay.
So I grew up in Kurnell down in the Shire. So
Yeah.
and I played for Cronulla water polo. So all my mates were from down there.
So you just go down to the beach in a big south swell there and
Yeah.
just get hammered?
Yeah, and the lifeguards would be calling us out. The beach would be closed, and we were like 13, 14 years old.
Oh my. And would you just go winter, summer, didn't matter? Or?
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were always in our budgies throughout the winter, and like it's just we're comfortable in our budgies because that's just been instilled from water polo.
Wow. So, all right, let's paint the picture for me here. You guys are 14 years old. You go down to Cronulla on the beach there in a big south swell. I've seen it pretty big. It's just messy and awful, really. I would never go out. How do you even decide where to start swimming out and where to attack that? Because that's just a big, for me at least, I'm not that skilled in it. It looks like just a big wash.
Yeah, like I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but you look for the rip. So where there's no waves breaking, that's kind of where it's the deepest. And normally if you're swimming at the beach, you want to stay away from these spots.
Yeah.
But if you hop in the rip, it'll just take you straight out the back normally. And you'll find something out there.
So the lifeguards, when they tell you not to be in the rip, it's a legit reason.
Yeah. Like if you want to get sent out into the ocean, that's a good spot to jump in.
Yeah. And then when you're out the back there, like how do you even like start catching waves and stuff as a body surfer? That's I've never done anything like that.
Yeah. So one of the biggest helps with body surfing is the swim fins. So unless you're like Ian Thorpe and you can swim really quick, it's hard actually getting onto those bigger waves. But having the fins helps you pick up that initial speed to get onto the face of the wave.
Mm.
So that's one of the main things with kind of taking your body surfing from your little shore breakers in the summer to your bigger waves out the back.
So back then when you were 14, you were wearing fins, but did you have hand planes back then? Or
We didn't have hand planes. I got my first hand plane when I was 18.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So you body surfed a bunch before that.
Yeah. Didn't really know they existed. I just saw one at Bondi Markets and got it and enjoyed it. It kind of makes the whole body surfing experience just better.
Yeah.
Because you can put your pressure on the plane. It kind of lifts more of your upper half of the body off the water. So you end up going faster and you don't get like the splash of water in your face. So you can just see way better.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
How do you decide which hand you put the plane on? Because you only have one, right?
Yeah.
So with surfing, you're kind of a goofy footer or a regular footer. How do you pick the side for you?
So you pick the side which is like your back to the wave. So if you're going right, it's on your right hand. If you're going left, it's on your left hand.
So you will switch depending on which way you go.
Yeah,
but if you surf a beach break, they could be both left and right.
They could be both lefts and rights, and you just kind of switch up when you're out the back.
Okay.
Yeah. You could use the other hand, but it doesn't really work as well because the premise of body surfing is you want to use your body, and you kind of use your back and that whole line as like the rail of the board.
So kind of your tricep, your shoulder, and your left back area on the inside of the wave should be into the wave, and that's what you're riding.
Yeah, because if you turn the other way, you're just creating so much drag, and like your body's kind of off the wave and
kind of just getting hit in the face. Really.
Yeah, normally you would just slide down the face.
Yeah,
it's kind of like if you don't have fins, you would just slide down.
So I have a question here. I'm Asian and Norwegian, so the best combination of being terrible at swimming, but I love the ocean, and I have tried to body surf a bit, but I am terrible at it. Like I'm kind of just sinking. And then last summer, someone gave me a tip where I was mostly just trying to go straight, but I used both my hands and plane a bit more, so I got more out of the water. What are some beginner advices for people like as bad as me? Like how do you plane more on the actual face of the wave? Because I've seen some videos of you, and you're like you're surfing on the wave, and you're riding down the green wave basically.
Yeah. So I think the fins is a massive, massive help.
Okay.
Also, there's a whole bunch of body surfing groups around Australia, and they normally meet up on like a Saturday or Sunday. So like my crew will meet up at Cronulla 7:30 on a Sunday morning. So if you're wanting to learn how to body surf, the best thing you can do is go meet up with one of these groups, and they'll always have someone that'll help you out and teach you. Like we teach newcomers and that kind of thing. A lot of getting onto that green spot of the wave is also your wave knowledge. You need to know what the best spot of the wave is to take off on, just like a surfer would. Like you wouldn't take off after the wave's already broken. You're taking off as it's about to break, and then choosing whether you're going to go left or right. There's a lot of things in it. But
so as a beginner surfer, you tell people just to catch the white water, but that doesn't work with body surfing?
No, it does work with body surfing. You can. It's just, I think it is easier to catch the green wave if you got the fins on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What type of wave is suitable for body surfing? What are you looking for?
We're still finding that out, and we're testing the boundaries. I love like a reef break, barreling.
Like a slab?
Like a slab, yeah. And you're not always going to make it out of the barrel. Like some of the waves I surf, it's like you'll make it 20% of the time.
Yeah.
But it's just so much fun. Like you can like drive a bus through the barrel and but you can also get like long point breaks.
Oh wow.
So you're just on the wave for ages.
Yeah.
So you can kind of body surf most waves.
What's the longest wave you had, you reckon, on body surfing?
It was probably at South Cronulla Beach actually. And it was breaking really far out. And I swear I was on there for like 10 minutes. It just like went forever. I kind of got like a little barrel and just rode it a bit, another little barrel, rode it a bit.
So do you mean actually on the beach, or do you mean on the point along there? Like, you know how there's a wave running out from the back?
No, it was actually like, it was on the beach, but it was pretty much halfway to the point. It was a big day, so it was breaking pretty far out.
So it would have been huge.
Yeah.
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 Like what, like 10 foot or?
No, like 6 foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt. What's the hairiest wave you surfed so far?
Hairiest wave? Probably had a couple. There's a one that I went down to recently in the South Coast. It's this bommy, which is about 1 kilometre offshore. You
don't have to mention any names, by the way. I've gotten in a bit of trouble mentioning a few waves on this podcast. So those days are over, but down the south.
Yeah, down the south, couple hours drive. And you can either get a jet ski out or you can swim out. It's like 1 kilometre swim out.
What'd you do?
we had to swim because we had a jet ski organized, but they didn't show up. So we're like, we're not just going to wait here. So our mates and I, we swam out, and it's like a half-hour swim just in deep, sharky water. So that was pretty sketchy in itself.
Is this early morning or?
Yeah, early morning. And we get out there. And because it's so far out to sea, like you see it's breaking and you're like, oh, it's pretty big. And you get out there and it was like...
Really big?
It was like 10 to 12 foot of the meanest waves you've ever seen. Like I've never seen anything in Australia like it.
Oh my.
So
we were there with another mate?
Yeah, I was there with two mates.
Okay. All body surfers?
Yeah, body surfers. There was plenty of surfers and bodyboarders out there that I knew and stuff. And so I was out there for like 2 hours and I got 2 waves and they were like 2 scariest waves of my life. Took me like an hour just to G up to actually get a wave. And that was pretty insane. It was the way it breaks on those bigger slabs. You see the wave coming and it doesn't look that big. And by the time, because where you catch it is where it hits the reef. So you look at it and it's like, oh, it's a 4 or 5 foot wave. And then you get on it and you look back and it's hit the reef and it's like doubled in size. Yeah.
Is it one of those waves where the water starts sucking up the face?
Yeah, you can start sucking up the face. You can see kind of the rocks on the inside and there's just like little things going on.
So as a surfer, I feel, and I might be wrong in this, but is it easier to wipe out when you're body surfing because you don't have to deal with a board? And you can, I guess, kind of try and dive under the wave a little bit? Or is it still just really scary?
I feel a lot safer without the board. A lot of the surfers say, I can't believe you're out here without a board. I guess they find that as their comfort that they can always float up back to the top with the board. But there's a lot of deaths and drownings that happen when the leash from the board actually tangles up on the bottom and they get held down. But I find body surfing, if you're comfortable enough swimming, like I could stay out in the ocean for days, I reckon, just treading water. And I think that's probably from my water polo as well. I just like feel comfortable out there. I'm pretty fit in the water. If you do all your training and stuff and your breath hold work, and I think it is safer. Yeah, because I get scared sometimes you're going to get knocked in the head or something, like you're going to hit the board can hit your head, you can get fin chopped. Like there's a lot more going on when you do have a surfboard. What do you do what do you like to do for training for body surfing specifically? You mentioned breath holds and stuff like that. Is that something that you do on a regular basis? Because you can't simulate big waves all the time. Like they only come around a couple times a year, so it's hard to really train in the moment for those big days. But I find that the work we do at BFit on the conditioning days is really good for it, because you can train your breath holds when you're sitting at home relaxing, but when you're out in the water, you're gassed. Like you've been swimming for 2 hours, your body hurts, and you need to go underwater for 20 seconds. Like it's not that long, but to get yourself to that point of tiredness, like the real high intensity interval training I find is really good for it. I love the ski erg. Because of that, it's almost like a swimming motion. There's a lot of lat work in it. And sometimes I'll do a bit of breathing training during my conditioning sessions. So like if we're doing a 20-second sprint, I'll try to do it holding my breath. Or sometimes I'll do just nose breathing just to train that. And then it's about kind of training your body to take the most oxygen in when it needs it. Because a lot of the danger from wiping out isn't the actual first wave. It's coming up and then copping the second one, the third one, the fourth one. When you're stuck on the inside, it's that interval of go under for 20 seconds, come up, go under for 20 seconds, come up. So that's why that interval training is really good for it.
It's also different when you get scared out there
Oh, yeah.
because your breathing just is
Yeah,
terrible.
100%.
Yeah.
And I found a couple of years ago, I was out at Cape Solander, which is a quite famous wave down Cronulla way.
Yeah.
And I copped a 2-wave hold under. That was my first 2-wave hold under, and that was scary. I got wiped out on those reef breaks because there's so much water moving. The water's it's aerated, and you can't swim up. Like if you try to swim up, you don't go anywhere. So you just have to let it take over and just relax. But I didn't know this back then because I hadn't put myself through it. So I've tried to swim up. I've cramped in one of my legs. And I'm like getting towards the top. And then the next wave came through and I was like, and it's like a 2-wave hold under. It's like 30, 40 seconds. And if you're not in the water, that's fine. Most people can hold their breath for 30 seconds. But when you've had the wind wiped out of you with the wipeout, and then you're underwater, you're tossing, turning, and like you're ready to take the breath, the next one hits, like you just have to go into Zen mode. It's just like you have to learn how to relax. And I think after that, I feel so much more comfortable in the water that because I know I can live through that 2-wave hold under and I can get my body to relax in those situations. So I find that helps a lot. Just having to go through that experience.
Yeah. You know that you'll hopefully be all right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. When the second wave hits and it pushes you back down, and I started thinking like, I need to get up now.
Yeah.
That's a panic station hits and your breath all is 5 seconds worth.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I like what you said before with your training, how you do the nasal breathing. I see a lot of people do that now. Explain a bit how that works and how do you do it? How do you put water in your mouth, or do you do any special technique, or do you just try and breathe through your nose as you go?
No special technique. Just breathe through my nose, and I don't know the science behind it really, but I know that putting your body through different stresses, it's gonna develop and become better at things, breathing. So,
first time you tried it, were you surprised at how hard it is?
Yeah, it wasn't so much just breathing through my nose was hard. It was, I couldn't go as fast as I'd normally go.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where you're like, oh, I really want to take a breath with my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done it a couple of times on the air bike and just a moderate pace, try and sustain it for a longer period of time. And I feel like I'm so insufficient at breathing through your nose. And apparently you're meant to be a lot better at it.
Yeah, it's you're supposed to breathe through your nose.
Yeah. I don't think we do that much.
Yeah, even when you're sleeping and stuff, it's supposed to be majority through the nose. And I was listening to a podcast recently, and he was saying that a lot of the mouth breathers growing up as kids, they're the ones that ends up getting braces or like deformities and that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it can develop your jaw or have an effect on your jaw or your teeth.
So if you're not good at breathing through your nose when you're young, it'll affect you later on in life.
Shit. I hadn't heard that, but there might be something to it.
Tape your kids up.
Yeah, I've seen some funny techniques. That's why I asked about the water in the mouth, because a girl that trains at the gym, she was told to do this by her trainer, and she had to run, I think she ran 500 meters or 750, not very long, and she just take a big mouthful of water and then try and keep that water in her mouth. Because when you have your mouth full of water, you can't breathe through your mouth at all.
Yeah.
And just been running side of the road. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So with body surfing, how does the competition scene look like? Because I think you've done a few comps, and are there many competitors? Is there any prize money in there? What's the career path for a body surfer?
Career path? There isn't too much in the professional scene, but there is a couple of competitions around. There's the World Championships are held in San Diego each year, They've been going for, I think, 40 or 50 years now.
San Diego, just on the beach there?
Yeah, just on the beach
They get
there.
good waves for body surfing?
They don't look like great waves. I've seen photos and videos, but everyone goes there for the world titles. And I guess it's good because a lot of the world's body surfers don't get the best waves ever. So competing in those waves is quite similar to what most people body surf in.
Yep.
But there is a competition that I was recently in at Pipeline in Hawaii. So that happened in, I think it was February this year.
Oh, 2019.
Yeah.
Yep. Is
And
that your first time to Hawaii?
Yeah,
Or Pipeline?
first time to Hawaii, first time to Pipeline. And the lifeguards there normally run a body surfing contest in epic waves. So that has pretty much been the real world titles for as long as it's been going. Because they
That sounds way more epic.
yeah, so they only really hold it in like 6 foot kind of conditions, and they have a 2-week waiting period, and they wait for the best day, and
So it's a proper comp.
yeah, proper comp.
That's mad. How's your experience there in Hawaii?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. We were there for 3 weeks, and there was one day that it wasn't under 4 foot and amazing.
Wow.
So we were in the water. I was there with a mate. We were there in the water for like 6 to 8 hours every day for 3 weeks. It was amazing.
That's so cool. Do you get strange looks from bodyboarders and surfers when you paddle out there?
So we
swim out
used to. Maybe 3-4 years ago, people out there was like, "Oh, where's your camera?" Oh, they think we're water photographers or something. But the body surfing has grown a bit in the past 5 years, and a lot of the local places we go, like we've been going there for a while now, and the surfers have realised what we're doing. But
in South Sydney?
yeah,
Yeah.
But like I was out at Uluwatu, and some guy's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm body surfing." He's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "How can you be surfing and not know what body surfing is?" It's like,
Yeah. I agree. I remember the Sprout movie, the surf movie,
Yeah.
and they had a feature with Mark Cunningham.
yeah. So Mark's actually coming to Sydney in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Because we're having the Australian Womp-Off, which is like the Australian team competition
For body surfing.
for body surfing.
Oh, sick.
It's being held in Maroubra on Saturday.
Yeah.
And the Defin Hawaii team's bringing their team of body surfers. So
And Mark Cunningham is on that team.
Yeah, Mark Cunningham's on that team.
Explain to the listener who he is. He's a bit of a legendary character.
Yeah, so Mark Cunningham's actually like one of the biggest names in surfing. So he was a lifeguard on the North Shore for many, many years, and he's seen Kelly Slater grow up, John Florence grow up, and he's been, I think Kelly Slater said that he's the best surfer in the world.
I think I've
And
heard that as well.
he doesn't surf on a board, but his wave knowledge is insane, and he's so good at riding waves just with his fins, and that's it.
And how old is he now? He must be in his 60s, yeah?
Yeah, I think late 60s, but like he's still out at Pipeline at 6 to 8 foot, just like making barrels, and yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah, is he considered the best body surfer?
So it's between him and Mike Stewart. Have you heard of Mike Stewart?
He's a bodyboarder, right?
Yeah, he's a bodyboarder, one of the
best.
biggest names in bodyboarding. So it's been between him and Mark over the past 30 years for who's the best body surfer.
Is Mike similar age to Mark, or is he younger?
I think he's about 10 years younger.
Okay.
Yeah, but Mike's real, his body surfing, I guess, technique, style is real progressive. Like he can throw like Rolos off the lip and land it. And
Oh, so he's taking stuff from bodyboarding. And
into body surfing, whereas Mark was just style and gliding through the barrel, whereas Mike's doing all these tricks and stuff.
Yeah. Back to Pipeline. How did you go? What was the competition like there?
So
both Mark and Mike were competing there, right?
Yeah. So my round one heat, I had Mike Stewart
Oh, dang.
and another guy, Dane Torres, who's on the Defin Hawaii team. So it's the top two get through to the next round, and I had an absolute stacked round one heat.
That's right.
So I was stoked just to be out there with Mike. But the two guys that beat me in round one ended up getting second and third in the whole contest. So I had a pretty tough heat. But it was like being out at Pipeline with 4 people in a heat, and it was 6 foot pumping. So like you can't
pay for that experience.
No, like
that's pretty unique.
Yeah.
Is it competitive, or is it any shit talking at the back, or is it just like everyone's just mates?
Everyone's kind of mates. Like it is competitive, especially if it's
surely Mike want to be he want to be winning, right?
Yeah. If it's Pipeline and it's 6 foot, it's competitive. But if it's like 1 foot, then everyone's just there to have fun. But it's funny. He's got like a watch on, and you ask him for the time. He's like, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't set it." Like you don't know how long the heat, but he knows how long is left in the heat.
Yeah. Does it work in a similar way to surf competitions where you have a judges panel and you get a score?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
It's just like you get scored on your style and wave difficulty and selection.
Yeah. Are there any waves that you would love to surf that you haven't surfed yet? Is there anything that you're thinking about?
Yeah, so one of the waves on my bucket list is ship sterns down in Tasmania.
Yep, jeez.
Yeah, I was hoping to do that soon, and then my knee injury happened.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like on the massive ship sterns days that are just insane, but like 6 to 10 foot, kind of. You saw the Red Bull contest that they had there?
Yeah.
I was looking at it thinking, that's a great day for body surfing.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nathan Florence won that one, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mate, that'd be epic. What's your thoughts as a body surfer on the step in the wave, or the steps, I should say?
So the step looks like a good spot to be taking off on the wave for us. So we want to be sitting where the step is. We don't want to be going over the step or anything.
Unless you can't really get towed in as a body surfer, right? So you have to take off further out or further in and kind of under the step, you mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that also means like if you're going to be sitting around where the step is, you're also got to be ready for sets that come in because you're going to be in a bad spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still just wearing your budgies?
Nah, I'll be wearing a wetsuit.
It's pretty cold down there in Tassie.
Yeah, it looks like a long swim in.
What do you feel like are some of the logistics of trying to get that done? I think it's pretty heavy local culture there. I don't think you can just rock up and body surf it, right? Like, would you know some people that surf there?
Yeah, I know some people that have surfed there, and the guys there, the community.
Yeah.
Especially because we wouldn't be taking away from their best waves. Like as a body surfer, you kind of just pick up the scraps. So we'd wait for one of the ones that the locals didn't want, and we'll have a go on it.
Yeah.
But also you'd want to I want to get it documented.
Yeah.
Want to have someone with a decent camera.
I think Kurt is very keen on filming that.
Yeah.
Kurt Tills.
But you'd also want to have like a boat there for safety and some first aid and a jet ski ready if you get caught on the inside, and safety first.
They did not similar, but Matt Bavalak, I'm probably saying that.
Yeah, I saw that on the surf
ski. He did like
ski.
a Nutri-Grain thing there, hey, and he surfed it on a surf ski. You feel like, it'll be like they can definitely do it, but there's so much shit going on behind the scenes there, hey, and he took some bad wipeouts, I think.
Yeah, but like the wave's so steep to be on a surf ski as well.
It's such a big tool to try and get
to
through
try
the
and
wave.
control.
Yeah. How about Tahiti, Chopes?
Yeah, I'd love to go there as well.
I think I've seen Mark, or maybe that was Mike Stewart surfing.
Yeah, Mike Stewart's body surfed it a couple times.
Okay.
I spoke to Mark Cunningham as well. He said he body surfed it. It was good fun.
Wow.
So yeah, I really like to body surf there. And then there's also the Wedge in California.
Oh, yeah.
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 So that's like a heavy body surfing community there.
Yeah, I've seen quite a
Yeah.
few people body surf that way.
Yeah.
That I don't even know how to describe that. That's it's not a slab. It's on the beach. Like it
Yeah.
breaks on sand, but it's more like a backwash wave. Is that how you describe
Yeah,
it?
well, they get like it
Ginormous.
bounces off the rocks there, and it does kind of go slabby,
Yeah,
but it's just super shallow and on sand.
and it's big.
Yeah, it gets very big.
Yeah.
But even during the summer, they have a rule from the government called Black Ball, where it's body surfers only during I think it's like 10 and 5 p.m. during the summer.
Oh, really? At
Yeah.
the Wedge?
Yeah,
Between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m.?
yeah. So if you want to surf it during summer, which is their peak season,
Yeah.
it has to be before 10.
Is the Wedge in LA? Or is it
Newport?
Newport.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mate, I feel like I would break my neck out there. That just
Lots of
looks-
people do break their necks out
It
there.
looks so scary. Oh my God.
Yeah, you kind of want to. The key to safety there would be just making sure you're not going over with the lip. I think so. You want to make sure you get into that good spot of the wave and
You get down the face.
down the face. Yeah.
Do you have different type of hand planes, like different sizes, or is it just one and you use it for everything?
So I got two that I mainly use at the moment, but they're both from War hand planes, and they're similar sizes. There's a wooden one called just the fish, War hand planes fish, and then there's a new one that he released called the War hand planes bad fish. And the bad fish is actually made from 100% recycled post-consumer plastic.
Oh, wow.
So they have the same functionality. It's just one of them is made from all recycled plastic.
Okay, so same size.
Same size. There is different hand planes for different kinds of waves. Like if you're just catching smaller white washy waves, there is these bigger foam hand planes that you can use that make it a lot easier as well. But that's not really my style.
No, you like the big flabby ones.
Yeah. And on the bigger waves, you want a smaller hand plane because if it's too big, it's more likely to catch in little ripples of the wave and you can kind of get caught and
Yeah.
get.
What would you use at Chipsterns? Bad fish?
Yeah, I'd use the bad fish, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel a difference between the wood and the plastic at all?
Just to feel on the hand, really. He's made them really similar in functionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name and where's he from?
So Ricky Gilby, he's from originally from the UK, but he moved here maybe I think 5 years ago, and he just started getting into body surfing, and he's like, got to make these hand planes, and he's big on his environmental sustainability. So he's like, we'll use kind of repurposed timber, and he uses Ulex wetsuits for his hand straps, which are like a natural rubber wetsuit.
Yeah, it's the same as Patagonia uses, right?
Yeah. Well, he used to work for Patagonia as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's kind of been the main driver in building body surfing in Australia. Yeah.
When are you getting a signature model?
I'm not sure. Still a while away. Yeah.
Got to win that pipeline event.
Yeah.
And surely.
Maybe a ship stern special.
Yeah, that'd be sick. If that happens, I'm really hoping to come down and film that and help out. I'll help carry it out.
Yeah. It'd be.
I told him he can go in the water to film the water angle. I'll be up on the cliff and film the drone.
Yeah. Give him the fisheye so he can get nice and close.
Mate, has he been out filming with you?
Yeah. So he came down to watch us at Cape Solander one day,
Yeah.
but he didn't get in the water.
Why not?
It is a bit
Scary, eh?
Scary, daunting. Like,
Especially with, several grand's worth of camera gear.
yeah, it's mostly getting out as well because you kind of have to catch a little wave up onto this barnacle-filled rock, and then if you don't time it right, you can get thrown off it. And with a camera, it's probably not the best.
You end up on kook slams real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Have you stuffed that exit up at all, or?
Because I'm normally out there in my budgies, I probably scratch myself on the rocks like every third time getting out. But it's not too bad. I haven't done any major injuries getting out. There is, if it's too big, that exit you can't use. And the next exit's like a 2 kilometer swim around the bay. And that gets kind of scary. You're just like floating in the water. There's a few fish around.
Is it meant to be sharky down there? I think
Yeah,
it is,
yeah, really. Like there's plenty.
Have you seen a shark out in the water?
I have at Cronulla, just at the beach. I was about 100 meters out. It wasn't a big day or anything. Like a 2-foot wave came up and I just saw like a 2-meter bull shark just in the wave.
A bull shark? Fuck.
I was like maybe from me to you.
Oh my God.
And I was out there with mates. I'm like, let's go in, boys. Let's go in. There's another spot around there, a secret spot, which is well known for sharks. And I was out there once. It was like 6 foot and pumping. There was like 30 people out. I was just catching waves. Before I knew it, there was 2 of us out. I'm like, what's going on? Where is everyone? And the guy on the board's like, oh, there was like a really big great white, like 50 meters that way, and everyone's gone in. I'm like, oh, thanks for telling me now.
Far out.
And there was also this other time at Cape Solander, we were body surfing and there was a few people watching up on the rocks and they all walked over to this other area and were looking at something. I'm like, God, what's going on over there? So we just kept going and like an hour later we got out and my mates that were on the rocks were like, oh, we were watching this seal and it was getting chased by a shark and it got out at the same exit that we get out at.
The seal did?
Yeah.
Oh.
So when we got out, we saw the seal there and it'd been like, it was cooked and it had like, it was bleeding a little bit. And we were like, oh my God.
Oh my God. That is so sketchy.
Yeah. Better off not knowing that story.
Yeah. I mean, at least you didn't see it. That's, yeah. I've seen, this year is the first time I've actually seen sharks in the water and it's a unique experience. They're amazing. They just look so different to any other fish out there. Obvious statement, but it is pretty mesmerizing to see a shark in the ocean with them. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Nick, the last segment of the podcast is called Last Words, or I should maybe rename it to Last Time, etc., etc. Nick, what's the last movie that you watched that you impacted you or that you thought was really good, or have you seen anything good lately?
Last movie. I haven't seen too many movies lately.
You don't watch many movies?
Not really.
I don't really either.
I might have to come back to it.
Okay. Do you watch documentaries or dramas or Netflix or what do you do?
Yeah, mostly on Netflix and stuff, but I haven't really seen anything recently that's kind of...
There's just so much on Netflix now.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue with Netflix. The options are actually too many. So I just scroll through the menu for 15 minutes and then I end up not watching anything. I'm like, I can't be asked getting 2 hours into this.
So my mate from Newport at the Wedge, he recently did a documentary on one of the lifeguards there who drowned during a rescue.
Oh, shit.
And that had a huge impact on me. I was like in tears on the couch. I didn't know the guy, but it's...
What's the movie called?
It's called... it's about a guy called Ben Carlson. It's called A Part of Water. Wow. And now he has a foundation over there for lifeguards and that kind of thing. But even just being out in the water as a body surfer, you do see a lot of people who are swimming straight into those rips or people that don't really know how to swim, and you realize that it's not a good day to be swimming. So you're always on the ball. Like, I'm not a lifeguard, but I know that I'm probably one of the most qualified people out there at that time to do a rescue. So I know it hit a soft spot for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sydney is quite unique in the sense that we get much rougher oceans than people think.
Yeah.
And especially tourists.
Yeah.
But there's a truckload of tourists. Yeah.
Even when it's not rough, because I did a geology degree at UNSW, and one of my courses was coastal geomorphology. So it's the study of riptides and beaches and that kind of thing. And most of the drownings happen on really small days. Like you think it's flat, but there's that dark patch of water and people just go out for a little swim and they get sent down, they panic and drown. And there's not even any waves.
Yeah.
And some of those days are the most dangerous.
It can happen so quickly, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not confident out there.
What's your advice I probably should be a bit careful with this question, but you said it as well. You're not a lifeguard. But what is your advice if you get caught by a rip?
You just have to relax, preserve your energy, and like if you're on a patrolled beach, like they're going to come get you. And I think like 90% of the riptides at a beach, they run in a circular motion. So if you're getting sent out, if you just float, more often than not, you'll actually get sent back in. Like I did studies on it and stuff. There's like maybe 5 to 10% of rips that'll actually just take you out, but it'll only take you out like 100, 200 meters and someone will come get you. But if you're on an unpatrolled beach, just try not to swim in the rips.
That is probably the best
put yourself
advice.
in that situation.
Yeah.
If you're trying to swim out of the rip, like, I don't know, like you can try swim each direction and see which feels like you're actually making ground. But more often than not, you just need to conserve your energy.
Yeah. Because that's generally what happens, right? Is that people fatigue and then they...
Yeah, people will try swim against the rip or they'll try find a way to escape the rip. When the best option is probably just to let yourself go out and then try wave someone down at the beach.
Yeah. But the main advice is swim at a patrolled beach if you're not a confident swimmer, for sure, and ask the lifeguards for advice.
Yeah.
We'll end on that advice on there so I don't get in any legal issues.
Yeah.
What's the last music that got you pumped up for training?
Music that gets me pumped up for training. I don't know. I don't really pump myself up too much. I'm more about just focusing, and especially at the moment with my knee, I don't need to be lifting crazy heavy or going crazy fast or whatever. It's more about the control. So I just
eat a bit of peak chocolate before.
Yeah,
and
a
then
bit of peak chocolate.
Go?
Sometimes I'll just listen to podcasts before going into the gym and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
At BFit, whoever's the trainer normally has a playlist going, and just as long as there's something going.
Yeah. As long as you don't hear your own breathing.
Yeah. There's a lot of head noise, like the music will cut and everyone's like, oh my God, what do I do now?
Well, what is the last podcast that you've listened to before you get into training and stuff? What kind of podcasts do you enjoy?
So I listen to the Whoop podcast a lot. So Whoop's this new fitness band. I'm wearing it now. It's pretty much like a heart rate tracker on your wrist. You wear it all day long. It tracks your sleep, your recovery, your exertion under they call it strain.
Yeah.
Tracks your workouts, tracks everything. Like each morning you get a recovery score depending on how well you've slept and how hard you trained the day before, how much sleep debt you've accrued from like the past week. So they run these podcasts which kind of explain, do you want a better recovery? Like this is what you do. If you want a better like
sleep.
Yeah, they do better sleep, better heart rate variability. And they interview athletes and you see what everyone else does. And not the same thing's going to work for everyone. So it's good to just try out different things.
Yeah, I've seen that band around a lot. How do you spell it? W-O-O-P?
Yeah, W-H-O-O-P.
W-H-O-O-P. And what was your sleep score from last night?
Last night,
Do you look at it every morning? You just
Yeah.
wake up and
Yeah, I'm
track your number?
addicted to it.
And it's the number 0 to 100 or?
Yeah, 0 to 100. So you can see here, like I think I got like 50 or 45 or something, a yellow recovery.
Yes.
And
You've got one green bit
Yeah.
on Saturday.
So you want to keep your strain, which is the blue one, close to your recovery score. So your recovery tells you how prepared your body is to get put under strain that day. So if I have like a really good sleep and recovery, I'll do like a double session that day because you want to take advantage of how recovered you are. But if I wake up at like 20% and I'm cooked, I've had a terrible sleep, I won't go into the gym and absolutely smash it. I'll take it easy. I'll make sure I can be recovered for the next day.
So
it's just a way to optimize.
Yeah. So on Saturday, you woke up with a good recovery. Did you have a big Saturday session?
Yeah, so I did 2 Saturday sessions. Yeah.
That's mad. How, do you know how the Whoop band measures this? Does it just track your movements during your sleep or your heart rate or?
So the recovery score is based on your resting heart rate, your sleep performance, and your heart rate variability. The heart rate variability is the most important factor, and it measures that during your sleep. And I think they say it's a measure between your
Max and your minimum heart rate?
It's like the distance between your heart rate beats and the variability between them. It's how quickly your nervous system can tell your heart to beat pretty much.
Yeah.
And if your heart rate variability is low, that means that your nervous system isn't signaling fast enough to your body.
Oh,
so it's the ability to be able to go from 0 to 100 quick. That's if you can have a high heart rate variability, that's what it really shows. Like you can go from relaxing to going 100% at the gym to getting back to a low heart rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's you see more and more people track that now, hey, and one of the big benefits I've heard is that if you adhere to this regimen fairly strict, your chances of getting sick is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens, right, with people that train hard is that they train hard on days that they probably shouldn't train that hard, and then the body is just gradually breaking down more and more, and you're more susceptible to getting the flu or whatever.
Yeah, well, since I've been on it for like a year, I don't think I've gotten the flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's funny, you can measure what things in your life do to your heart rate and stuff. Like if you have a big drinking session or something, my heart rate goes from my resting heart rate from like 40 to 55, 60.
Yeah.
So it goes up by like 15, 20 beats.
Body's trying to clean that shit out.
Yeah. And that's like a 20% increase over your whole amount of sleep. And then the next day is fully put off. Like my Whoop recovery doesn't happen for like 2 days after you have a drinking session. Or even like one day I just didn't have enough water. I realized I was really dehydrated. It took me 2 days to recover from that.
Yeah. Mate, I think if I have a big night out, it takes me 7 days to recover from that. I feel good on Thursday maybe.
Yeah.
It's shocking these days. Nick, do you watch a lot of YouTube? Have you had any good discoveries on YouTube?
I've been getting into Gary Vee lately.
He's massive on
Yeah.
YouTube.
So, I don't know, I feel like I've always been very competitive growing up with my brothers and stuff. I always want to be the best at everything I do. I always want to get the bigger wave, or like I'm trying to get the Australian ski erg record at the moment.
Oh, explain to me, what is that?
So there's like your concept to the ski ergs. Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to get the 500 meter, the 1K and the 2K Australian records.
And are there weight classes in that, or is it just...
There's age classes.
Okay.
But I want to try get the open. Open, yeah.
Okay. So give us some numbers that you got to beat there.
So I think on the 1K, I need to get, 256. The last time,
To me, that's just crazy. That's so fast.
the last time I tested was before, like just after I got back from Hawaii. So I was away for 3 weeks, and I got 3:02
5 seconds.
without any, like I hadn't trained really
Yeah.
for 3 weeks. And then I was actually on my testing round the Monday after I did my ACL. So I was about to go for the record on the Monday and then did my ACL on the Saturday. So
Dang.
I've been working back up to it, and I reckon I'll get it this year.
So the 1K is the first one that you want to tick off?
Yeah.
3 minutes of, well, let's say 2 minutes and 30 seconds of pure pain. The first 30 seconds is probably okay-ish. That is painful. Or not really. Where does it really start to sting badly?
The last 30 seconds, yeah. But you want to kind of leave enough gas for the last 30 seconds. I like to kind of pace myself and then, okay, 300 meters to go. Let's go all out. That's when it really starts to burn.
So the first half of that, do you sit on a sub 130 split? Or do you try and sit on 130 and
I'm going to try
time?
to sit on 130 and then near the end try go for it.
Hammer to thong. So you're really winning or losing that record in the last, let's say, 15, 30 seconds.
Yeah. But on like a short sprint, I can get it down to like a 112 split. like
112. I've never seen that number on a skier.
Yeah. So like power output, I got it. I just need to like extend that over a longer period.
Where do you feel it in your body does it start to give, not that it gives up, but at a certain point in a 1K race like that?
Surprisingly, the part where I feel it the most is my calves.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've always had really weak calves, which is probably why I've done my ACLs or something, just like having that imbalance.
Yeah.
But I find the last 400 meters or so, my calves start to burn. So I think I really need to work on them, and then I should be fine. Like my arms feel good. Like
lats are fine.
lats are fine.
Because I think that's
I feel all
generally
that.
where I feel it. Lats.
I do so much swimming, and I've done so much swimming over the years that movement just feels great for me. I'll do that all day.
With all your swimming experience, are you going to do any swim races like the Bondi to Bronte, for instance, or anything like that?
Yeah,
Does that
every
take an
now and
interest?
then I do the ocean swims. I did the Coogee Island swim last year.
Is that out to the island and back?
Yeah, out and around and back.
Yep.
So that's
How far is that, roughly?
I think it was 2.5 or something.
Yep.
But last year it was had really rough conditions. So I swear it was closer to like 3K, and then ended up calling it off for everyone that swam after our round. Because we got out the back and there's like 6-foot swell coming through, like going up and down. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's I love the ocean, but that far out feels so sketchy to me.
Yeah, it is. I go spearfishing around there as well.
Oh, wow.
So I've seen what's underneath. And
Yeah.
yes.
What do you catch out there?
Like mostly just go for like leather jackets and stuff, but apparently there is kingfish around, but I haven't seen them yet.
Wow, that'd be amazing. Spearfish a kingfisher.
Yeah. There's plenty around.
And they're really good as well, I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, that was an awesome chat. Thank you so much for coming on. Tell us where people can follow you and what sponsors you want to plug or anything else that you have coming up.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Nick Brbot. And
what type of stuff do you post on your Instagram?
So
are you training, right?
It's pretty much a blend between my body surfing and my training and my rehab at the moment, kind of what I'm eating, what I'm doing, a little bit of my cat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your training stuff is really cool though. I enjoy some of your posts.
Yeah.
So following your training and what you do.
Yeah.
When do you think you're going to be back in the water?
So I started swimming again actually like 2 weeks ago. And I've just been taking photos and videos and stuff so I can sit on the side of the waves and get some footage, which normally you don't get much footage because everyone just wants to surf. So it's hard to get someone to sit in the water. But since I can't catch the waves, I'm happy to sit in the water.
That is such a big reason for why people become a photographer or a camera person is because they're injured. That's how I started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like coming to a couple of weeks, I think I might be able to start catching some smaller waves, but I'll have to ask the physio and see how it goes. Because I guess if it is healing, I want to kind of let it heal. I don't want to go too hard, too quick and have it kind of tear or something twist in a wave.
Well, it'll be probably pretty small in a few weeks or months anyway.
Yeah, summer's a good time for it to want to slowly build it up.
No more south swells.
Nah.
No more big south swells. When's the pipeline comp?
So
what time of year?
It's normally around February, March, I think.
So you're thinking about doing that next year, or where you at?
Hopefully, if my knee is up to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's such an amazing trip.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to go over there.
Yeah.
And what sponsors do you have, and what shout outs do you want to give?
I'm actually running an online body surfing store called the Body Surfing Shop. And if you're wanting to get into body surfing, I have all the different types of hand planes and a couple different fins where if you're a beginner, intermediate or advanced, you can kind of choose between and see all the different brands. And if anyone has any questions, just to like email me there and I can help them out with what to get.
Yeah. What's the website and do you have an Instagram handle as well?
Yeah, so it's the Body Surfing Shop.
.com.au?
Yeah, .com.au, and that's the Instagram handle as well, the Body Surfing Shop. Awesome. There's a couple of articles there on how to body surf and interviews with other body surfers and just body surfing news and stuff.
Yeah. Are you going to get an interview with Mark Cunningham when he's here?
Yeah, I might. Yeah.
Should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be heading to dinner on Friday night and have a good chat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah. It was a good chat.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for coming in, and hopefully you'll get to do the pipeline comp next year, and I'd love to have you back on after that, especially if you win it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We'll get you on regardless, but just to talk about your experience and if you get some good winter waves over in Hawaii. Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.